Is there anything more cozy and comfy than a pair of mini Uggs in the winter? Hey everyone, welcome to the Teeny or Tinkers channel. I am going to be showing you guys how to make teeny tiny little Uggs for your dolls, or at least how I make tiny Uggs for dolls. Doll shoes are ridiculously hard to make, and I am by far not an expert. However, I do get asked all the time how I make my doll shoes, so I figured I would show you guys how I make a pair or two, starting with this pair of Uggs, which I think is relatively easy compared to a lot of the different kinds of shoes you can make. But without further ado, let's get started. Now I'm going to pull out a pair of 3D printed shoe bases that I have. I'm not using these for this project. Don't worry, we're going to be making some. Okay, so to make the Ugg, I'm going to fold over some faux suede type fabric in half. Any kind of fuzzy, thick-ish fabric should work. Once it's folded in half, I double it up and then cut out these two rectangle sizes, basically based on the shape of the doll's foot. From there, I cut out two thinner rectangles in the same length. And that's because this piece we're about to cut is for the front of the boot. Cut out a curve that would be roughly following the doll's toe line. And then the last set of pieces you need to cut out are the toe pieces, which are basically these rounded pieces that follow the same curve as the second piece we cut out. Basically, your pieces should look like this. But we're not done here because these are going to be black platform Uggs for me. I didn't have black faux suede, but I do have black minky, which I'm going to be using as the fuzzy inner lining of my boot. Minky is the perfect length for this, so I'm just going to cut out basically the same size pieces that I've already cut out, and that's just going to create the inner lining. Now, don't cut out minky for the toe piece because you don't need to. I mean, you can if you want, but it can make the shoe a little stuffier for no reason, so there's not really any need. Okay, so now that we have all our pieces cut out, let's start sewing. To get started sewing, I'm going to grab two of the pieces that are the long rectangle pieces, and I'm going to stitch along one short side, one long side, and then the other short side, leaving the bottom part completely unstitched. Do that for both, making sure that the right sides of the fabric, or the fabric you want on the outside, is facing in together. I'm also going to do the same thing for the other pieces. Basically, right sides in, one piece minky, one piece suede. Once your pieces are all stitched, you turn them right side out very carefully. If you notice there's any holes or anything, go back and stitch those closed. Once you have your back and front pieces flipped right side out, you're going to grab the toe piece and you're going to place it so that the right side is facing up and the wrong side is facing the minky side. And you're going to stitch it along that curve. Definitely recommend trimming this down. It's going to make it look much neater. And then you're going to switch to a zigzag stitch and just zigzag along that line. Typically, you would want to use the same color stitch as your fabric, but I'm going to be painting mine, so it really doesn't matter for me. Once you're done with that, you're going to face minky sides together and you're going to stitch your boot so that the front and front sides of the toe pieces are attached to the back of that long rectangle piece, basically making the full shape of your boot. If you find that they've come out too big, you can always open up the seam and just trim up that rectangle piece at the back and then re-stitch it. Again, we're going to trim off the edges and we're going to zigzag stitch them as well. It should look like this. Okay, repeat that process for the other side. Moving on to the soles. Now using cardboard, and I'm just using like an old Amazon box, you want to cut out the shape and size of the sole of the shoe you want. You want to cut out 4 of these minimum to start, and they're not going to show at the end, so it really doesn't matter if there's writing or anything on them. Using a needle and thread and holding your shoe carefully, you want to stitch all of the bottom of the shoe kind of to itself in this kind of zigzaggy web type fashion, basically to make sure that the boot is following the form of the sole. Now it's going to feel really loosey-goosey, and that's okay, because once we're done that, you're going to use hot glue or whatever glue of choice. I just like hot glue. And you're going to glue that so that the cardboard and the thread are now glued to another piece of the sole. This is a really good time to do a quick test fit and just make sure everything sits nicely, just to make sure that they are secured and they fit your doll's foot. Once you've kind of confirmed everything sits together well, you can add more cardboard pieces to basically build up the platform, or you can leave it here. And then you're going to cut out 2 long cardboard strips to go all the way around the perimeter of your shoe. You could also use pleather for this if you so chose, but I just used cardboard because it was already out. Now make this so it's just slightly taller than the amount of cardboard you've put to be the sole. Once you're done this, using, again, hot glue or your glue of choice, just glue around the outside, covering up all of the cardboard seam lines and all of that. Once you've made sure that everything is kind of tucked in and nice and clean, go ahead and paint the soles of your shoes. I'm going to go ahead and paint the tops of my shoes as well. Give them ample time to dry, and that's it. You now have a pair of Uggs, and if you're me, you have a pair of black platform Uggs. If you follow this tutorial, let me know how it goes for you. I hope it was helpful, and let me know if you want to see more tutorials like this. But for now, if you're already subscribed, thanks so much for subscribing, and if you're new here, I hope you like the content and consider subscribing. As always, I hope you have a fantastic day.